Reach the eyes, they were intended for. Reach the eyes, they were intended
Probably a good idea to actually turn the microphone on. Good evening and welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow, Tunches T. And this is part 8 of our ongoing journey towards finishing Might and Magic 2 on the Mac. In the last stream, we ventured into the town of Volcania. We finished mapping the town itself and all of its areas, and then we went down into the cavern, where we discovered that at least for most of the secret areas we don't seem to be leveled up quite high enough to be able to finish mapping it and finish off the monsters down there. What I'm going to do now to start the stream is that I'm going to go to the second town and have the cleric learn some of the level 2 clerical spells, which we seem to have forgotten at some point. We don't really use many of them, but the one that comes in handy now and is missing is the protection from element spell. So I'm going to take the cleric to the second town, the town of Zanzibar, and have him learn these spells, and we are going to give the dungeon one more go before deciding that we're not level high enough to complete it. And if that goes well, we will finish mapping the cavern, and if it doesn't, we will go directly to Atlantium, the 5th and final town in the game, and explore the town itself there, and try our hand with the arena in Atlantium, where you need the black key. One of the quest items that we have is to buy 3 of these black keys and win a battle in the Middlegate arena and the arena in Zanzibar, as well as the arena in Atlantium, and then take our ticket that we probably receive for winning these battles while visiting the Queen for a quest. And that if we are a level high enough to finish the black battles, that might well be the next item that we complete after investigating the Atlantium. We'll have to see where this goes. The game will take us where we can at each point. So with that said, let's escape into the game. We weren't able to level up any of the characters in the last stream. We are still quite a bit off, so let's hope that during this particular stream that we are able to gain some more experience points. But as for now, we will travel back to the 3rd town, and now to the 2nd town, where we need to go find the temple. And I was lost in this city, in this town, when we explored it the first time around, but I seem to have found my way. So it's obvious here that we simply forgot to learn these spells 2-2, 2-5, and 2-7 at the time. However, we did take the paladin there, so when we were down in the dungeon last night in the last stream, I used the paladin to cast these spells. However, the cleric is slightly better versed in magic, so there is some difference as to which spellcaster casts this spell. So let's see if this makes any real change. The amount of forces that we have, depending on the caster, seems to be exactly the same. So it will be curious whether this actually makes a difference or not. Maybe it doesn't, and in that case, we will simply go directly to Atlantium. I will save our progress before we move on here, so we don't unlearn these spells and have to do all of this again. And we will ascend into the dungeon. The spell is already active, and we can simply use the teleport spell to teleport forward. It's quite a bit quicker than walking around trying to find the different entrance points to these hidden areas here. As Gleeser was one of the guys that was watching the stream last night pointed out to me, I had used this spell many times before, but somehow I haven't been using it in this game so far, and of course it's much quicker to do it this way. So this is why it's nice to have people watching the stream. They can drop some good hints. This was a fairly bad event that happened right now. We need to rest, and we need to turn, and then we need to move forward and rest again, because we were unable to move directly forward, and these lava pits are doing a real number on us, and we are at a fairly low level, so this is hitting us very hard. And it's particularly these encounters here which are very difficult for us. And since we don't really seem to have gained a lot by learning this spell, I think we will simply give up on this for now and go forward into the town of Atlantium and return here at a later stage. It's also entirely possible that if we find a battle where we are lucky enough to get some armor that protects us from fire, which would be the probably the S series, which would help us most in that regard, then perhaps we will we'll try this again. Some of the characters already have magical items which protect them a little bit from fire, and if we aren't sure whether an item provides good cover, there is a scale in Volcania that we used earlier that we can step on and see exactly how many resistance points each character has. So if I find such an item, I might try to fight that particular battle more than once to see if we can give most of the characters higher protection from fire, so we can more easily complete this. And as I've mentioned multiple times already in these streams, the teleport is a circle. So here is the final teleport for the towns, which transfers us back to Middlegate. And funnily enough, we end up in the same room as we do when we are traveling from Zanzibar, and this is a case of the game reusing that particular room. However, if you go in from this direction, you need to go all the way back. So it is a circle in every way except that you cannot travel from the first town to the fifth town directly. You have to go all the way from 1 and onwards. However, you can, from town 5, you can go directly to town number 1. So this teleport system is handy. It gives us a big advantage in not having to travel all the outside areas between the towns. So our first task now is to, as usually when visiting a new town, is to find the inn so we can sign in and save our progress, in which case we will start again in this town. And it's probably here somewhere close to us. This is the Mage Guild, and these are this is probably the training grounds labeled the Olympic Trial. So we found those two. Odyssey's Tongue is probably a skill. Hippomenes plus Atlanta is another skill. The hero or heroine skill. And we still haven't mapped out exactly how we're going to split the skill points. We will have to do that at a later stage and map out exactly what all of these skills do. Right now we're using the cartographer skill to map the levels, and that is a skill that we know that we need. And we also know that we need the Pathfinder and the Mountaineering skill, which is used to travel over forested areas on the outside map, as well as the mountainous areas on the outside map. But in addition to that, there are multiple other skills that are available, and we need to decide which of our characters need these skills the most. Here, for example, there's another skill, the athlete skill, and once we have these skills mapped up, I will take a snapshot of each character, and we will learn them one by one and figure out what they do, and then based on the class of the characters and what the skill provides, we will have the characters that are in most need learn these skills, and we might attempt to move the skills that are perhaps the needed skills, such as the mountaineering and pathfinder and cartographer skills, to characters that only need to learn one skill, because we are now at the point in the game where most of the characters are either in the back or have high enough hit points, so it isn't as much a requirement as it was during the early stages of the game for the characters that have the cartographer and mountaineering skills to be at the front of the party. As is usual in the game, we're now feeling our way through here. This is the training grounds. Nothing much has changed since we took a look at that last night. We haven't fought, so we know just about how our status is. This town is far more open than some of the previous towns have been. Town number 3 and town number 4 were at least partially closed off, and there were a lot of secret doors and levels. There's less of that so far in this town. Now a bored magician languidly offers enrollment into the local mage guild for 50,000 gold. We have no choice but to accept this, because if we want to learn the sorcerer spells in this town, we need to be a member of a guild. So we will gladly pay the 50,000, which is a significant price hike from the first town, where buying into the guild was 20 gold, and has then hiked up in every town we visited, and in general every service in every town hikes up in price considerably. Now this is the Colosseum, which would be the same as the arena in Middlegate and the Monster Bowl in Zanzibar, a place where we can, given that we purchased a ticket from the blacksmith, take part in games where we fight monsters for a cash prize, and we will try that a little bit later on. As before in the game, this area is pretty large and is centered in the town map. Here is a key shop where we can buy the black key for 50,000 gold, and we will also do that because we eventually need all of these keys. We already have stored here the green key, which was purchased in Middlegate, the yellow key, which we purchased in Zanzibar, the red key, which we found in Volcania, and now the black key, which we purchased here in Atlantium. And as usual, I'm having the cleric store all of these keys, so I know for a fact where they are and which character is holding them, and also so we don't accidentally sell them to the blacksmith. And with the price of this particular key, that's becoming important, because the key is now 50,000 gold, which is just about the earnings of an entire party member. We've now spent 100,000 gold on membership to the guild, as well as the key. So that's about 1/3 of the gold that we had in pocket that we spent just on these 2 items. And as is usual, and the reason we check every square is that there are these various hints that are laying around. So I have a document here always that I jot these messages into, and I will do that as well here. Sly robbers should accompany at least one class or maybe all. They slink unnoticed, yet reap many rewards. Learn more from the jurors of Mount Farview in T2X7Y0. So there are these jurors spread around the outside map, and there is a juror for every class, and once you've leveled high enough, you can visit them, and they will give you an additional prize, which will help that particular class in the game. And here is another such hint. The Threat Knight resides in B3X5Y14. A knight must defeat him. Many have tried, all have failed. And what is usually the case for these particular jurors is that there is some sort of encounter that you have to go through, and very often you are not able to take the rest of the party with you. You have to go at it alone. So for the night battle, for example, only a knight or multiple knights, if you have multiple knights in the party, can join you. And this is where the hirelings come in handy, because if you find, for example, a hireling robber, you can hire him for a day and bring him with your robber to the juror, and have him help you complete the quest, and then you can simply let him go at the next inn. So you can basically borrow his services for one day. Here's another one. Baron Wilfrey's lair is in B2X11Y2. It is rumored that only a mighty archer might defeat him. So already we've discovered the location of the jurors for the knights and the robbers and the archers, which would come in handy later on in the game. And another such hint is here. Brutal Bruno the Barbarian chieftain asserts his authority over all barbarians in C4X0Y15. So this is the barbarian juror, and we have a barbarian hireling in the party. So it can be useful as well to have your hirelings complete this. This is a room that is marked Knights and Warriors, and we will not go in there quite yet. It's hard to say exactly what awaits us in there. We will continue exploring much of the open area before this door is labeled Danger City Jail, and I assume that in there we will find an encounter, so we won't go there just yet. Here in X0Y15 are the stairs to the cavern. Down below, I assume that we are a bit away from being able to ascend into the cavern, but we'll give it a try anyway later on once we finished mapping this town here. This is an unlabeled door. We will check it later on. What we'll do now is we will do a crude inspection of the town. Here we can buy some items. One of the items that is for sale is a Thieves Picks +5, which is a better item than the current Thief Pick we have. So I will trade that Thief Pick with the Knight, and buy a better one and sell the old one. And The +2 will give us 2 additional percentage points of probability when we disarm traps or unlock doors, bringing our thievery percentage to 63. Every little bit helps there. And in addition to that, there is also a defense ring here, and these are often found in battle as well, and they are very useful because they give you an additional armor class just by equipping the item. And perhaps later in the game we will discover some of them in the in a fight. But for now, I'm going to buy 3 of these black tickets, and so we can take part in these 3 battles in Millgate, Zanzibar, and over here in Atlantium, and get going with a quest. In addition to that, there are some other potentially useful items that we might take a look at here in the shop, but other than that, we've mostly relied on finding useful items as we fight the monsters, and that is generally the case as well. And we've tried our best to equip every class with weapons and items that fit them. Yeah, the pretty big block here all around is the Colosseum, so we've already discovered that. Here is the inn. Finally, we will sign into the inn to save our game, and then continue exploring. There's a great deal of these unlabeled doors here. All of them give us access to a room that is only 1x1 squares, and it's fairly likely that at least some of them are encounters, so we'll leave them for a little bit. Here's the tavern, and in every tavern there is always a tip that the bartender will give us once we tip him enough. And hirelings at 014 set this tip, so probably means that they're either there in the cavern below, or they're here in the city at 014. We'll see if we get another one if we tip him more, but no. But there's a rumor as well, meal B, then A2 1410, and there's a location. So the game is giving us a tip that if we eat meal B from the menu in the tavern and then travel to A2 1410, that will help us along. We're probably pretty far from being able to take advantage of that, but I will jot it down in the document, and we will use that at a later point. The suggestions that we get at the bar and that we find in the various areas in the game, including the ones that we find in the dungeons below, are not necessarily in any linear order. You can find hints for much later stages in the game in the early dungeons, and it's up to you to figure out when to use these tips. And what I generally intend to do is that once I complete a tip, I will cross it over in my document so I know I have completed it. And otherwise I will keep them in the document. So this on the other side here is the exit out of town into the outside area, and on this side was the entrance to the dungeon. So they are symmetrical on the east and west side. Here is another unlabeled door. We will continue exploring the obvious areas first. Here are some more of these statues and some more of these hints. The Vixen Dawn rumored to have more lives than a cat from hell, hides from ninja assassins in her mist bog in D4X8Y9. So that is the tutor for the ninjas. The evil wizard Ipmuk left 23, right 46. The good wizard Jakob left 64, right 32. Interested sorcerers should inquire at the two castles, Isle of the Ancients. So in the Isle of the Ancients, there are two of these castles. You can see them on the map that came with the game. So these figures, left 23, right 46, and left 64, right 32, are something that you need to enter into some sort of machine in the castles to gain access to these wizards. And that would be the tutors for the sorcerers. And here is another tip. Find Korak's soul in area C1X10Y15. Clerics should reunite it with his heavily guarded body. We already took a peek at Korak's Cavern, which is in area C2, and to complete that particular area we need to take only a cleric and a robber into those battles and manage to defeat them without having any of the other party members present, and to be able to even attempt that again. I would very much like to find a hireling cleric so we can at least bring 2 clerics, and preferably a hireling robber so we can bring 4 characters, because some of the battles in Korok's Cave, at least for us at this particular level, are very difficult. So we can easily complete all of them with the full set of the party, but we won't be able to gain access to find Korok's body without having only clerics and robbers in the party. So here is the hint for the paladins. The paladins should rid the Forbidden Forest of its dungeon-dwelling frost dragon at X8Y8. So we will find this frost dragon at some point. And now I think we're done with these hints. I think we found all of them. This room is marked sorcerers and clerics, just as the other one was marked knights and warriors. That leaves the unmarked doors and the arena. So what we will do now is we will travel back to the inn to save our progress here and the parts that we've already mapped, and then we will continue with the more dangerous doors, starting on this side. And there happens to be absolutely nothing in here or in here. And there is nothing that says there is anything inside of any of these doors. They might all be empty. And just be there to look menacing. And we checked all of them. There's nothing to be found there. And now we will check this particular door. This is an encounter with some mad peasants. They are not particularly dangerous, but still difficult enough that they exploded all over us and killed us. So what we should do is we should take better care. So we will go into this battle and wait for the rest of the crew to be plowed down in combat, and we will attempt this particular battle again. This is why we save. Although this is a different battle. So I'm hoping that we can cast magic here, and we can, so that's promising. I will take these beetles down here first, particularly the ones that put us to sleep. And the muggers can't make up their minds whether they're going to flee from us or whether they're going to add their friends. So they did a bit of both. But we can easily take care of these muggers, even if they're in fairly large numbers. Let's see. So we completed this encounter, and we rested. There's nothing else in this room here, but there is probably a secret room behind here. So we have a battle with some of these skeletons here. And the most usual party member there is the cleric, which has the turn undead spell, which is sure to eradicate most of them fairly easily. We found some gold here. And here's another battle. A slightly more difficult one. We have some of these snapping spores and these swarming wasps, and they do a number of damage to every member in the party. So we will try to take them out before they get many chances to attack us. Before focusing on the rest. And that went pretty well. So we're in the final hidden area here, and that is probably one of the very likely that there is another encounter. No, there actually isn't. So we were able to complete these encounters fairly easily. And we will save our progress and move to the room on the other side. This is the city jail, so it makes sense that we will run into some encounters here. The dancing bones can sometimes be a little bit difficult, particularly if you end up in a situation where it's where you've been hampered in some way so that you can't cast magic because they are mostly immune to melee attacks. So if you end up in a situation where you can't cast magic, the only member of the party that is able to successfully cause damage to them is the archer, which has a bow that has magical properties. So his bow, although it's a melee weapon, causes damage to these monsters, whereas the rest of the crew is not able to inflict much damage on them. So if you end up in a situation where you have no magical casters left and the archer is unconscious, then the battle can basically last forever. And we have another such monster here at the top, which is the illusionist, which is also fairly difficult, and he also drains the spell level of the characters, making him more dangerous. And in addition to that, we have plenty of these super sprites, which can curse us, making it more difficult for us to hit the enemy. But we pull through anyway. We found some potentially useful items. We will. What I tend to do is that I will collect all the items together, and we will make a trip to the blacksmith. And based on the value that the blacksmith is willing to give us for the items, I will have a look into which one of them we're interested in using. But so far in this town, we haven't really encountered any battles that I would say are particularly difficult for us at this stage. So although we are perhaps not leveled high enough to attack the caverns, the town doesn't seem to pose much of a problem for us at this stage. But at least we are winning a decent amount of gold and treasure, which will come in handy. Since we found some particularly useful items here, I decided to go save, even if that means that you will have to go through some of these encounters again. The game will reset your progress in these particular squares every time you save your position or leave them up. So you have to fight them again, but these two battles were fairly easy, so I think we can easily complete them again. And I didn't want to lose the process that we had already made. So now we will unlock this death row door here and face these giant ogres. And again, we will use our ability to heal our characters while in battle. The remove condition spell to remove the cursed condition and rest up. And here's a hidden square. We stumbled into. And it's good to be rid of let's see. It's good to be rid of the monsters that are able to cast a paralysis spell on us. But what we really need to do now is we need to find a way to get some of our gems to the cleric, because he's currently out of gems and is not able to cast the swarm spell. And we also need to take care that we don't run out of gems. We only really find gems when fighting other monsters, and the end result of that, if we're not careful, is that we end up in a situation where we have no gems left. But we're nowhere near that point yet. And we seem to have found the hirelings that were hiding in here. Harassed cleric and a battered archer look up at you in surprise. The cleric says, "I am Big Boutte and this is Cleocatria. Thank you for freeing us. We were imprisoned falsely for uncouth behavior by the stodgy Atlantians. We are now available for hire at the Carriage Inn." So that is excuse me, that is potentially very useful. At least we have another hireling cleric that we can bring along for the correct mission. Potentially that is even enough to be able to complete that particular mission. We'll see. But what we'll do now is we will save our progress here, and then we will go to the ironworks. Take a look at some of these items here. There's a flush sword here. Which gives us protection from energy plus 19. And does 1 to 10 damage. It can be used by the knight, the paladin, the archer, and the robber. The archer currently has a Xacto spear, which increases his accuracy, whereas the thief has a large knife. The thief is fairly seldomly in melee combat. It's far more likely that he is in ranged combat, so even though this is damage-wise a better weapon, this is definitely a more valuable one for him at this point, because it gives him the added protection. So we will allow that to go to the robber. We will sell the large knife instead and the great hammer, and then we will take a look at the items that... Hey Gleeser, welcome to the stream. We will trade these items upwards to sell as much as we can. See, A flail, an iron helm +2, and a flamberge +2. We'll sell all of this and then trade some of this stuff up here. The ray gun is a useful item. It increases your accuracy. So I will give that to the archer. And his accuracy, which is now 33, will go to 40. So it's been magically enhanced by some 19 points at this stage, which will help us. And I will also identify this this true axe that is in the backpack of the paladin. See what that does. It increases our accuracy by 6 and does 10 damage points. It isn't. We already have such a weapon on the archer himself, but it really doesn't do a lot of damage. So there's a question of what we do here. We already have a weapon here, which is a two-handed weapon, but it only gives 1 more damage than the true axe. So I will sell this great axe here, give him higher accuracy instead. That seems like a good trade-off. So now we've sold this and equipped the characters. I'll save the game again, and then we will continue exploring Atlantium. We will now go to the area that was marked as Knights and Warriors, which starts with some 67 lepers, which seems like a lot of lepers. I'm curious as to whether we can just quick fight ourselves out of this. I doubt it. There's so many of them. We kill, and they will add more. Obviously, it's just an attempt here. We just saved, so it's easy to go back. But I find it extremely unlikely that we will survive this. We kill maybe 3 or 4 per turn, and they are just slowly plowing us down here. And we will definitely end up dead. So we will have to use some magic to go ahead. But we've done a decent enough job. We've killed some at least 50, 60 of these. So we're not totally useless, but not strong enough to complete this without wrong room. I'm not strong enough to complete this fully without needing some magic assistance as well. This time, instead of 70 lepers, we got some 8 mutants, which seems like a significantly easier battle, but they do inflict quite a bit more damage, and they're also immune to magic. So make another go at this. Keep going a little bit too far. Some rangers and some thieves here. I will focus the magical energy on the rangers. They are far more dangerous. And we will use that Deadly Swarm spell here, which will help us greatly. This was an easy battle. I assume there is an encounter in every single one of these rooms. So we might as well attempt one. And we will cheat by using magic. The game doesn't stop us from doing so, so we will do so. But at least the champions are mostly immune to some of this magic. So I think we will simply have to knock them down. Done one. It's all a question of how many we try before we go back and save the process that we made. There's nothing here, so we will attempt at least one more. Nothing here either. Nothing here. But a battle here. That's quite advanced, so we will take care of him first. But I think this is again a fairly easy battle. And we found another ray gun, and that is a super useful item, so we will equip it immediately, and I will return and save. Increasing our accuracy helps the party considerably. I will sell some of these cheaper items here, so our backpack isn't always full of stuff. Before we go and save and return to this room, we have to face this battle here again. Taking care of the windmares, which were the most difficult here, and all that is left is to cure some poison and rest. And onwards we continue. This is the next room here. There's nothing in here. It seems that it's mostly the battle at the front of the door that is difficult. None of the battles that we found inside of these little rooms have really been difficult. That leaves one room which we haven't explored yet from this series here for the warriors. On the other side there is a similar room for the for the sorcerers. So we will check that out as well. After going back, selling our stuff, and saving our progress. Let's see. Now all that remains is that room down there, and then the Colosseum, which we will explore after going to Middlegate and traveling to Zanzibar as well, and finishing one battle there with the black ticket. Here we have the mummies. They are difficult. The sewer rats are very easy. The mummies are very difficult. We'll cast Turn Undead, and that did nothing. Most of the magical spells don't work on the mummy, and it has quite a number of hit points. It's a question of how far we advance here. He's already I've already been able to plow down 3 of the frontmost facing members of the party. I think we're wasting the turn of the cleric by not using the healing spells. So when we return here, I will attempt to do that instead of trying to cast battle spells. Seems we obviously need the healing more than we need the hit points, because the Deadly Swarm spell did very limited damage on these monsters to begin with. This is not exactly the same fight, as is often the case. So we will take care of these corpses first. As much as we can. And then we will use the Deadly Swarm spell, which will help us with a number of these, and then we can plow down the rest. And another battle here. This is a far more difficult one. The Mano Devils here are difficult, and we need to take care of them first. I would like to see them, as many of them dead as possible. I think some of them already advanced, and that is not good at all. We are again in deep trouble here. There are so many of these devils here that they are slowly taking us out. So we will attempt this again. But this is very similar to the other room. The battle at the door is a difficult one. Although this one does appear to be slightly easier. We've been drained of spell points, but we managed to knock enough of them off that didn't really present much of a problem. So now we're in another one of these rooms here with all of these doors, and this was a battle on the other side, and this still is. The illusionist is dangerous, and so is the shaman. Both are immune to some of the magical spells, and in addition to that, they also drain us of our level and our ability to cast it, making things even more difficult. I think we'll actually be okay. Quite a few of the poltergeists here, but they are undead, and if we're lucky, then the turn on dead spell will help us tremendously here. Got rid of quite a few of them, and there's still quite a few of them left as well. We will continue to use magic to try to take them down. And this is where the deadly swarm spell, even if it costs a few gems, is very useful. Since it can inflict damage on so many different monsters at the same time. It seems that there are battles to be found in nearly all of these rooms now. But the druid can be dangerous if he's in a party of monsters that are capable of inflicting major melee damage. But when he's along with something like the inept wizard, which has few hit points and is easy enough to kill, then they are mostly harmless. Just like the on the other side, plenty of these rooms are empty. This one is slightly difficult. It has the juggler, which is a nasty little bugger. To focus on trying to take him out first. And I will cast Power Cure on the sorcerer in case the juggler gets another chance, so she doesn't get killed. And we've taken down the juggler now, so we can plow down the rest. Okay. We got into a nasty battle here while asleep, and ended up in a bad situation and died. That is the roll of the dice for you. After completing 4 of these battles, you get attacked while resting, and every process is lost. So we will try again once more. These are just spots, and I will simply just kill them. We will get diseased, but we will also just get through this fairly quickly. I will cast a Cure Disease spell on the cast members that are... Hello, Yormon. Yeah, this is the Mac version of this particular game. I originally played this on a Mac, so I knew of its existence, and it's a pretty great version of the game. Yeah, it is. It is actually a very nice version. We keep getting attacked while resting here, much to my dismay, because I'm trying to finish mapping this town here. And at least this battle isn't an impossible one like the one we got ourselves into earlier. I will continue to cure disease here and make another attempt at resting. Okay, we're good. So we will attempt these doors again. That didn't go well. There we go. So these are apparently always the same monsters. So we got an attempt at killing them earlier, so we pretty much know what it is that we need to do now. I'll finish this and search for treasure. What's happening now is that we are running out of food, so I will finish this door here, and then I will run back to the tavern and buy some food. This one is actually fairly difficult. We need to take these phantasms out here before they get a decent chance to attack us. And then we have quite a list of monsters to fight after that. But we are out of the woods here. So, okay, we've completed these 2 doors. Oh, that will have to be enough for now, because I have to run back and buy some food so that we can rest. Which requires me to remember where the tavern was actually located. It's here somewhere. This was the jail. Here's the tavern. And we will buy 1 feeding frenzy, enough to feed everyone for 40 days. Save our progress and take another swing at the door battle here. This time manned by these dancing bones. And the Pyrohydra, which is very difficult, but only one of them, so I will turn out okay. Here we go. A lot of gold. That will do nicely. And onto the doors down here. This is again the battle with the druids and the inept wizards. It's the same as before, and it's still a fairly easy one. A silence spell doesn't do very much on us when we don't really need to use magic during battle. It doesn't really help. So that's 4 doors. 6. This is the juggler battle that we had earlier. It's still difficult. We just need to take care of what we're doing. What is the situation with the sorcerer? Does she need healing? No, she's okay. We will then attempt to use the deadly swarm here to inflict that damage on the rest of them. Only one of the jugglers remains, so we can take him down now, and then we can take down these witches here. Okay. Ten of these inept wizards. Decently difficult, but with a very low number of hit points, so easily killed if they don't get a chance to kill you first. That leaves one additional door which does not have an encounter, so we now completed exploring this particular town here, the last town in the game, which leaves just the arena, and I'm going to save that until we go back with the black tickets and win the other battles. This magic charm here provides 10 additional protection points from all magic, so that is potentially very useful. I will allow the knight to equip that. We've also found here a plate armor +3, which is a useful armor item, but we already have quite a few of them, so we have no business with yet another one, so I will simply sell this one, and then we have a few items more that went to the Hireling Barbarian, which we will move up so we can sell them. A glaive, a flail, and a long dagger, in addition to a great hammer +3. Potentially a pretty decent weapon. and actually a better one than the one he currently has. So perhaps we will use that and trade the halberd instead and sell that off. Okay, I'm done with this. Save our progress once again. And then I will travel with the black ticket all the way back to Middlegate, the first town, using the teleport, which is here down at the bottom of the screen. One of them goes to the fourth town, and the second one goes to the first town. And there I will enter into the inn and save the game. And then I will go to the arena and face one battle with the black ticket. Following up on the some hints that we found earlier in the game that we need to win 3 of these battles in the 3 arenas in the game using the black ticket before approaching the queen for a quest. So as was perhaps to be expected, this is a difficult battle. We already have a party member that is dead with a single blow. So it might well be that we are not nearly level high enough to actually complete these battles. We have 3 members of the party that are dead now. I don't think we've killed any of them yet. I think we're still on the first one. So I would say this was a loss and that we are pretty far from being able to complete that. So we will simply take these tickets and move them to another character and store them there until we can use them. Probably to the robber. And then I will go and see if we are any match to the dungeon beneath Atlantium. We gave up on the dungeon beneath Volcania because there are these lava pits there that make it very difficult for us to complete the mapping. We need perhaps a level more and maybe 2 levels more to complete that. So now we will travel through the teleports from town 1 over to town 2, from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. And now we're back in Atlantium. We will go into the I will save the game and then we will go into the Colosseum and map what we can of it without stepping into the battle. We're obviously able to walk around the room here. And it's probably just the center square. This does not look like a battle we can win, so it is this square that we need to avoid. We can map the rest of the squares. So I'll try this one again. We'll leave the squares in the middle for now, map the rest. And then we'll try our hand at the cavern here. It's quite possible that we're far from being able to finish that, but we'll see. Fairly quickly if we are a match for the cavern or not. Private, keep out. I check every wall for a hidden message. There are often messages scribbled on the wall, and they help us progress in the game, give us hints as to what to do, and hints as to location of certain items that we need to find in the game. So I take a look at every location to check. So far, this is an easily mapped area. It doesn't have any of these pits or any traps of any sort. Here is a message scribbled on the wall, sort of to prove my point here. Buy tickets to the arena, the Monster Ball, and the Coliseum at your local blacksmith. Hurry, limited time offer. Yeah, we know this already, and I will write it down anyway. Thanks for the follow. Is it your mom? Am I butchering the pronunciation of your name there? You couldn't hear the alert. It is 80s music. Let's we can test this. It's not muted. You should be able to hear it. Yeah, it's your mom. Okay. Okay. That is interesting. Let's see here. It is set correctly. I can hear it. Hmm. It's not immediately obvious what's wrong with the alert sound, because I know for a fact that on last night's stream I could hear the alerts very clearly on the what, so they were working. I'll take a look at this after tonight's stream, but it is a song, and he will tell you to. I will follow you. He goes. Let me find it. Let me see. Uh, this particular song is by a fellow called Glenn Burtnick, and it's called "Follow You." and I will find the link. It's here. This is the song in question. Let's see, we already knew about these tickets. The limited time offer is a little bit interesting. There's a decent chance that at some point it will become impossible to buy these tickets anymore. More of these doors that say private key belt, and I think we've now actually managed to map all of the areas that are publicly accessible here. So we'll save, and then we'll go back downstairs and try walking into one of these doors, see what waits behind them. Seems likely that yeah, we'll head into battle here. And this game can be very weird. It's entirely possible that this cavern is something that we can complete at this point, although the cavern in the town before it is not. And it's also possible that the towns aren't ordered in the level of difficulty either. But this is a difficult battle, but I don't think it's impossible for us at this point. We can heal during battle, and we've already taken down quite a few of them. Although that might also be the roll of the dice. Sometimes you're lucky in the battles that you get. Sometimes you're unlucky. We managed to complete this one fairly easily. We had to give it some thought. We couldn't just use the quick fight, but other than that, it was certainly doable. So now the question remains, how do we access the areas on this map that aren't immediately accessible to us? But one of the advantages of all of these doors is that we can very easily just go upstairs and save our progress and go downstairs and try the next door. We don't have to go through any battles before being able to attempt these. Here we run into a far more difficult battle with these seductresses here, which will paralyze the entire party, and we'll try again. I have this rule in this game that I will try every battle 3 times before giving up. Because if you get absolutely nowhere after 3 tries, it's fairly certain that you will simply not survive the fight. And this is one of those. This is one of those because we've gotten pretty much nowhere here. We're all paralyzed. But this one is not random, it's always the same. So let's try another room, see if we get somewhere there. This is a necromancer. We are nowhere near ready enough for him either. So I think it's clear that we are no match for this dungeon and we can't stop trying this. So our next move is to go back to Middle Gate, and this time around I want to visit the castle that is on the end of C1, which name escapes me right now, and see if we are any match for that particular castle and whether we can then continue there. We will simply take the road. It's not Castle Pinehurst, that is the one that is in, it's called Castle Woodhaven. It's situated right here. So as before, we will run into a battle with these castle guards here, which will not allow us entrance. And we've beaten them before, we can do it again. And our problem last time was that we were pretty much unable to open these chests without ending up with a dead robber, but at least this time around we were able to do that. We leveled up a little bit since we tried this last time, so let's see where we get. This particular door was labeled Hordal's Palace, and this is a 3x3 little area here with a hidden room in the middle, which must have an entrance from somewhere, probably accessible through teleport somewhere in the castle. And in addition to that, we have a little hallway here that probably leads somewhere else. This one is marked guard tower. It has more of these castle guards, which are good for us at this stage of the game. They provide a decent amount of experience, and they also give us a decent amount of gold. So it's good for us to practice on them. There's a hint for us here, or an offer: Castle Guards, Peril, Angus Spotley's new and improved quest removal elixir. It can be yours to drink for only 19 gold. Okay. We won't drink it now. Don't have any quest. But this is in square X13Y2 quest removal potion. So I'm fairly certain that if we visit the queen here, we will, or the king, we will get a quest. And then there's the question of whether we are able to complete that particular quest in time. And if we change our minds, we can at least go here and have the quest removed. I will use the power cure spell here. There are now 10 of these guards, which is a far more difficult fight than only fighting 6 of them. We at least need to get rid of some of them to make the task a little bit easier. In the meantime, I will try to heal as much as we can during battle to increase our chances of moving on here. rogue is somehow still in the battle, only had a single hit point left. It's easy to see that this is about as much as we can take on. This might, if we were unlucky with the roll of the dice, we might easily end up dead in a battle with 10 of these. With some careful planning, I think we can mostly complete these. This was not good. We ended up in an encounter while resting. We were already in a bad situation, so this was very bad. And that is sometimes the way it goes. We know for a fact in the middle that there is another battle like this, so we can prepare here and cast the get ready to cast some magic here. Let's see. Let's hope we don't get unlucky again and get attacked while trying to rest. This has mostly gone well so far. And we are in the clear. This time around we didn't get attacked while napping, and found a very respectable amount of gold. And also a ring mail +6 here earlier, which is decently good armor for the cleric, for example. It's a question of what armor the cleric is currently wearing. He's wearing a scale armor +5. Yeah, this is definitely better if you can wear it. No, he can't. So it's not for a good alignment. It is possible that the archer can wear it. No, he can't either. So it is only for evil. So that leaves just a robber, and the robber cannot use ring mail. So we don't have to worry about this particular item. We are not able to use it. And then we had something called the magic charm. +3. Let's see. Look that up here in the guide. See what that does. It gives you additional protection from magic. That is potentially very useful. I will equip that immediately. So we will move on here, taking a look at these walls to see if we find some hints, and stepping carefully in the other castle. There's a lot of time travel involved, so you need to move very carefully, because there are some squares there where a year goes by if you're not careful every time you step on the square. Yeah, the PC version of this game is more limited, and I think that is partially just laziness, because it is not much different from the Apple II version, which is obviously a 8-bit machine that has far less memory. So I think they could have done a better job on the PC conversion than they did, but this version is well done. Now let's see here. We found a leather suit +6, which we can't use, unfortunately, on the barbarian, which would have been very useful, because it's pretty much the only armor that he can wear. And we have another of these fights with the castle guards. This time again, there are 10 of them in the middle square. This is an identical fight to the one that we had in the previous room. The rooms look exactly the same as well. There are 2 groups of 6 and a single group of 10. We will use the same tactics as we did previously, and hope we succeed. It's more important to heal the archer. He does a lot of damage with this bow. And then we will heal the paladin. And we survived again. And now we found a great axe +6. And potentially great weapon if we are able to equip it. This one has a great hammer +3. And I will attempt to equip this one. A wrong alignment, okay. So it's not neutral, but we might get lucky and the paladin might be able to use it. So we will try trading it down with the paladin, who has the true axe +1, which is actually a magical item, but he still can't use it, so it's evil only, which means that we have no one who can actually use it. But that is sometimes the way things go in this game. We might find another castle where every single item we find is only for characters of good alignment, and yet another one where every item we find is only for characters of neutral alignment. And that is just the way the game goes, which is why it's also important to have a decent mix of characters from all alignments. I'm going to assume that the full circle around here is exactly the same, and there are 4 of these rooms here, each featuring pretty much exactly the same fight. But we seem to be pretty much at a level where this is not impossible to do. And another one. And we'll leave the one in the middle that has the 10 cards for the rest. Take that last. Of course, I should really go back and save our progress, but if I do that, we will have to have all of these battles again anyway to make it to the end. So the game is making it difficult for us to go back and save our current progress. So we will simply have to try to be very careful here not to lose a party member, because we need every single member of the party to stay alive to be able to complete these fights here. But at least we haven't really ended up in a situation yet where we're obviously dead. Now we've lost a cleric, but it was late on in the battle, so it turned out okay. At least in the cases where the chest has exploded, we haven't killed the robber, which was what happened a lot in the previous castle that we attempted. So that makes it easier for us to progress. So this would probably be then the last guard tower. We are finding a lot of items of value here. And even though they're probably not for our particular alignment, can still be sold at the blacksmith and will fetch a good price. So we'll be able to gain some gold. So that leaves the square in the middle. I will have a classic battle with the 10 cards. And so far the roll of the dice has been in our favor here. We've mostly been lucky during these encounters. And here is another door, and this is an area that you can't get to without fighting all of these guards. So I assume there must be a way to get to this place without going through all of these fights. But it isn't immediately obvious that you can. And what we will do now is I will leave the castle. I will not face another battle here. We've pushed our luck far enough. And I will return to town, sell some of this loot, and buy some food, and return. So we will have to trade the items that the barbarian has over to the knight, because the barbarian is a hireling and he's not allowed to shop. So we can't sell his items directly. We need to trade him to a player character and sell them. And we can sell these items, however. We have here a ring mail +6 that we already figured out that we can't use. Great axe we can't use. I didn't test this shield, but maybe we should. Maybe we should test whether we can wear it or not. I need to remove at least one of these items here before I give that a try. I'll trade this with the paladin, and this as well, and I'll remove this cold shield here and trade this with the hireling knight and see if I can equip it, and I can. Brings us up to 26. So it does give us additional 3 in armor class, and it's very tempting to move this cold shield down to another character. We're not currently fighting any monsters that have cold spells. I will save it for later, but I won't sell it. I will save it for later, but we will wear the great shield because it gives us a +3 in the armor class department. None of the other items here are of particular value to us, except perhaps for the spiked club +5. Now we have a storm wand here, which is more valuable to us, so I won't use that. We'll trade the rest with the paladin, and we will simply sell it. It's likely that accidentally moved this here. Okay. We still have some items here that we want to sell. It's the ring mail that we couldn't use, the thieves pick that we already have, and some of these other items here. So we've gained a significant amount of gold. We gained almost 35,000 gold per character, which is some 180,000 plus for the entire party. And we are very close to being able to level up, and the cleric was able to level up to level 10. The knight needs 4,000. The hireling characters need some 30,000, and the robber is 20,000 short. So very close to being able to level up to level 10 for some of the characters. So that's useful. We will return to the castle and continue exploring. At some point we will, if we get lucky, we will find the castle key, so we don't have to endlessly have these battles before being able to enter the castle. But not right now. I haven't found it yet. The question remains whether we can simply teleport here 1 square. I will make an attempt at least to do so. And yes, that worked fine. So we can basically continue where we were here. There were 10 castle guards here waiting for us. I think it was Gleaser that pointed out that in the last stream that the teleport spell is enormously useful in this game, and I think he said that early on in the game he found a teleport orb which he used to great effect before gaining access to the spell, because it saves you from having to look all over for ways to enter some of these hidden areas, often avoiding some encounters on the way, making your progress slightly easier. And I like that as well, Gleaser, to go through the items and figure out what you can do to improve your current condition. And I remember my characters at the end of Might and Magic 1, they had become pretty powerful. They were able to sustain both a lot of damage, and they were also they had pretty good protection from all of the elements. Slowly you end up in a situation where you are very difficult to kill. It's not impossible to die, but it becomes easier. That only happens around, as I remember, at least with the first game, when you were maybe around level 17 or 18, you had basically reached a point where you were quite difficult to take down. We have quite a way to go to reach that still. Leveling up takes a lot of time, and you tend to die quite a bit, so you lose progress on a regular basis and you have to go back. So this room was well protected. There's some castle treasure here. I won't take it for now. We don't really need the gold, and I'm fairly sure that that will make sure that we get into massive trouble if we take it. Might also prevent us from being able to take on one of the quests. We can always return at a later point, and if we need some of this, we find out that we need some of this, we can always return. But for now, we're going to behave ourselves and not take the treasure. Here's another fight with 6 of these castle guards. Now, this is the door in the lobby that is marked no entry, so now we at least know how these 2 areas are connected. More gold for us. So there are 10 more of them here. I certainly get around. Hello Ash, welcome to the stream. Great to see you. We are taking on Castle Woodhaven. Slowly but surely. Hitch mentioned yesterday he was here for a while before he went on a mission to test his new smartwatch, and he said that it's kind of weird. He had obviously seen pictures of me and so on, but he had never actually seen me live on video, and it's different than watching a picture and seeing an animated face. We are getting better at fighting these guards here. Yeah, today was a pretty good day. I was mostly spent all of it here at home with the two younger boys. My wife was at my mother-in-law's making a bunch of jam. Uh, when she finally got back, I decided that I should stream a little bit, do something other than taking care of the boys today. What I should probably have done, I should probably have gone to bed, but this is more fun. What I have forgotten, Gleaser, is when exactly it is that you find the keys. I forgot where. I remember in game number 1, I eventually did find keys, and was able to gain access without having to constantly fight these guards. But I wouldn't have saved us these particular fights because we are now in part of the castle that is off limits. So if we want to get ahead and be able to map them, we need to attack them and take them down one by one. Even just being able to level up 1 or 2 characters helps quite a bit. The added experience points and the added hit points, they help quite a bit. And we are at least finding a lot of treasure here. And there is this one square here, like on the other side, which we can't access, which I assume we have to access by teleport somewhere in the castle itself. More guards. Difference being when there are only 6 of them, we can basically quick fight ourselves out of it. We don't have to focus on taking them down one by one. There's some more castle treasure to be found here and here. So this is what the castle guards are guarding. As I mentioned previously, I won't take the treasure for now. I don't really want to get into trouble, and we don't really need the gold that badly. But we might still return at a later point in the game and rob the castle of all of its gold. There's a square there that is probably accessed from the other side. At least there is no... Oh, okay. There is a hidden door there. Some 6 additional guards here. So that's one fight. Where are we now? We're in this little square here. Okay. Okay. We found something of value here. A crossbow plus 6. Potentially very useful. Question of whether we can actually use it or not. I'll trade it with the robber whose backpack is full. Might as well try it on the archer first anyway. Now he has this fireball bow, which has some additional properties, but as I suspected, this needs a certain alignment. And, most likely it requires the evil alignment like every item we found here so far, but that also potentially means that the thief is unable to use it. So let's see if we can. Move it over to the robber and equip it. This is a good item. So it's limited to pretty much a very select group of... That's basically the paladin who has a blowpipe at the moment, but very rarely uses a ranged weapon anyway. So I don't think we will be able to use this item. We will simply sell it. Okay, good to know. Let's see. There's some more treasure here. And yet more treasure over here. That basically just leaves the squares here in this room that we didn't inspect earlier, which is again more treasure. And of course on the other side of the door, more guards. Yeah, in the battle between sleep and might and magic wins. Yeah, I think that I've been playing this game on and off for a large number of years, and that has been the case many times. So I think it's fair to say that so far might and magic has mostly won. So now we're done with this little part here. And it's very tempting to just go back now and save our progress, since we don't need to go in there again. And I'm starting to know my way around the outside area here, so I don't have to constantly stop and look where I'm going. I can simply sell all of this off. Just in this trip, we gained some 25,000 almost gold per character. So these trips are making us a lot of money. They're also providing us with valuable experience. We cleaned up the items. I'm going to buy some food now. We're down to 10 food, so that's a good idea. And then I'm going to check the training. So Lancelot and Knight is ready for level 10. We need 12,000 for the Barbarian, some 150,000 for the Paladin, some 13,000 for the Hireling Knight, 100,000 more for the Archer, 460 for the Robber. That seems like a very low number. It's very tempting to just simply go to the blacksmith, buy a green ticket, or 2 of them perhaps, go fight 2 battles in the arena town to gain these 500 points that we need. It's a very low number. We can easily take care of these battles here. We want some 200 experience points by this battle. And another 200 in this one. Potentially not enough. But there is also an encounter that always takes place here, which we can finish, gain the rest. $575 more. So we've earned enough to level up the thief and gain him some 6 additional hit points and a little bit of extra skill in thievery, single percentage point. So it's now at 64%. Okay, so you're stuck at home, Gleaser, with in quarantine. Yeah, it's pretty much the same here. There have been some incidents lately where a large number of people have had to been placed in quarantine. So we worried a little bit about this during the first wave because it was actually fairly likely that we would have caught the disease in the first wave, and since we have 3 little kids, they all would have been stuck with us in quarantine because it's not really possible for any one of us to quarantine individually without one of us simply leaving the home and going into a hotel for quarantine. I know some families did that, but that's very complicated. Yeah. Working in an area where you're likely to be around a lot of people obviously increases the chances that you will get infected. We had a case here about a week and a half ago where a member of the kitchen staff member at a hotel was infected with COVID, and there was almost 100 people that had to be placed into quarantine, and in addition to that, 10 of the guests of the hotel had actually been infected. So everyone that they had been in contact with obviously needed to be quarantined. So it very quickly becomes a huge list of people, and of course, if you work in a fairly public area and you're around a lot of people, then the chances of catching it or at least being quarantined are much higher. So here's a joker with the joke of the day. Why are there only 20 hours in an orc day? Ever see an orc with 24 fingers and toes? An interesting point. Did we get another one? No, get the same joke. We have to probably leave the castle and enter again for another little pun. But it's at least likely to keep us entertained. There are 2 rooms here on the left and right which are unlabeled, and we will finish them first before going into the throne room. Which I'm fairly sure means that we will get a quest. Do you remember this particular joke about the orc or another one? So I'm always up for a good pun. A heavy oak table holds a lavish meal. Fill your backpacks with food. No, the same applies to this as the castle treasure. I'm not about to steal anything. I don't really need to do it, and chances of the guards being called or us having issues with being able to accept one of the quests is higher. Have I heard of the orc which cut off his left arm and left leg? No, I haven't heard. Why did he do that? He wanted to be all right. Very good. All of these little rooms here have an item that you can grab. I'm fairly sure it's a low cost item like a torch. It's basically the same. We're in a room which is a sort of a treasury, and it contains various items that we can take, and I'm simply not going to do that, but we know they're here. As I remember, every one of these castles also has a dungeon. Now this is different. You notice a gleaming long metal object stuck in a crack in the wall. Pry it loose. Yes, we will. After removing the object and cleaning it off, you notice the inscription M27 Radicon. Okay. These are quest-related items that we have to find. So I will cross this off our current list to signify that we've already found this particular item. And we will need to find a member of the party that is able to carry these items. It's very useful to make that a single party member, so we don't end up in a situation where we accidentally sell some of these items. So what I will do now, I will move them to the sorcerer and keep them there. There are 4 of these items and 4 discs that go with them. And we need all of them to be able to complete the game, and they are spread around the game. There are 4 of these, at least 3 castles that I remember, one of them in a different time zone. We need to travel back in time to be able to complete that one. Sorry, excuse me. So this is the throne room here. I'm very tempted to, before we go there, to go back again and save. Just in case something happens. And we will stop at the blacksmiths and sell some of this stuff as well. We've found after battles, so our backpacks aren't filled with junk. It's possible that we've leveled up again. No, we need 8,000 roughly for the hirelings to go to level 10. That's a short way away, maybe 3 or 4 battles with the guards. So we will at least be able to level them up tonight. Yeah, I love these games, and they are the problem with as Gleeser is pointing out, the problem with most modern RPGs is that they're more of a first person perspective, and that also means that they aren't turn based like this particular game is, and you can pause at any point and look at the chat, and there's nothing that happens in the game unless you move it forward. And every action is caused by you executing an action of some sort. Here's another joke of the day. What do you call an orc with half a brain? Gifted. Here we go. Another orc joke. So, for example, during the battles, we can calmly take a look at the situation and wonder what we're going to do and figure out which spells we're going to use without the enemy gaining any sort of advantage. And you tend to turn up dead a lot in this game, but other than that, it's mostly a matter of just continuing your quest, and eventually we will get there. It will take a long time to finish this game, however. I've already spent some, this is stream number 8, and we spent an average of 3 hours, and we're maybe 24 hours into the game, and there's at least that amount left, and probably quite a bit more. It wouldn't surprise me if it took us 72 hours on stream to finish this game. Lord Hordo proclaims, only a crusader can help me with my never-ending need to accumulate stuff. Okay. So he's after some stuff. And we need to be a crusader. Okay, that is one of the skills. So what we need to do now is that we need to go back to town and find the town where the crusader skill was being taught, and learn that skill, and then go back. I at least know for sure that it isn't this town, so we will travel to the second town and see if the skill was to be found there. Here's the locksmith. We already purchased his key. The embassy, this is diplomacy. We don't need that right now. This is the inn. Pickpocket. Not a skill we need right now. This is the portal. The wizard's eye. We already know what that was for. It was probably not in this town either, so let's travel to the third town, the town of Pandora, and take a look there. See if it's see if this was the place. This was the blacksmith, and so this is in the frozen part of town here. Probably in this particular area here. Denial. Pay 250 gold to crusade. Yes, we probably will. Let's see. The barbarian has no learned skills yet. So I will use the barbarian to learn this particular skill for now. I can always go back and have some other character learn it. We only basically needed to be able to accept the quests. I will save the game and then we will go back to the castle. Yeah, we haven't really figured out the skills yet. I will have to learn I will have to use the brain detoxification service that is available in the second town to clean up the character skills, because there is basically at least one skill that is suited to each class that you need to learn. So for the fighters, they need to learn certain classes that will enhance their abilities in certain areas. So we will eventually clean all of this up and learn the skills one by one. Here's the joke of the day. Did you hear about the orc who went to the dentist to have a wisdom tooth put in? Okay. It's very funny. The huge chamber is overstocked with many unusual items. Lord Hordo begs your party for a favor. Will you gather more items for him? Yep. We'll start with the pages quest. All we need to do is bring him a hand axe. How likely do you think it is that we will be able to find these items simply lying around here? This is a Cupid doll. How interesting. A large club. Another Cupid doll. Actually found another M27 Rayticon, which we have absolutely no use for. But I don't think we're going to be lucky enough here that we will have to simply go and find him a hand axe, which shouldn't be terribly complicated. We can simply go back to town and buy one. I'm pretty sure the blacksmith sells a hand axe. Yes, he does. It's 10 gold. Easiest 10 gold I've spent. That will probably not give us a lot of experience, but it will still give us some, and we will be able to move on with the next quest. I wonder how many times we can complete this quest. Probably many times. But it's perhaps not very useful. Complete it more than once. Another joke of the day: why can't orcs boil water? They forgot the recipe. These jokes are hilarious. We got an additional 80 experience points. That seems like not a lot. Now we have to find something called the Chance Sword, which we have no way of finding. So it seems these tasks are rather useless. What I will do now is I will use this potion that was available here to forget the quest. I'll check out what the other two are. Should be easy enough. We've removed our current quest, and we can then go back and see what the fourth quest is. 3 hidden swords of chivalry, valor, honor, and nobility. Okay. I will write this quest down here. Sword of honor, all, and I will probably can't remove this quest again in this same run. I will have to leave the castle and enter it again. Well, that's okay. We need the experience anyway. Yeah, 2,000 for knocking down the guards, 80 for the quest. So makes it so worth it to go back and forth here. I managed to accidentally kill that robber now while opening the chest. Should have rested before trying to open it, but such is life sometimes. I'll leave this particular chest. I was only basically interested in doing this. So I will go back and heal the thief, and then we can continue and finish mapping the castle. Still haven't found the entrance to the castle dungeon. As far as I know, there is a dungeon underneath every castle. I doubt that is different for this one. So we will level up the barbarian and the hireling knight. So Now the knight is at level 10, the barbarian is at level 10, the hireling knight is at level 10, the robber is at level 10, and the cleric is at level 10, so we've leveled up a significant part of the crew. Let's see how much Strog is now. He's 1384 gold per day. So very expensive barbarian, our Drog. Gets more expensive with each level he gains. And we will go through this fight with the guards one more time. And this time remember to rest before searching. Let's see. There is a significant part that we haven't mapped yet. Our joke of the day: why did the doctor tell the zombie to get plenty of sleep? He was dead on his feet. These are excellent jokes, taken probably from a joke book. We are not allowed to enter the throne without electric axe. Okay. So there are basically 4 of these items. One of them is basically a hand axe, one of them is the quick blade, the electric axe, and then the 3 different swords. So we will seek these out. And if we find them, we can always return here for our reward. I'm assuming there is more castle treasure to be found in this room here. Since there were guards posted, yes, I'm correct. As before, we won't take the treasure, but we will map the other room as well. Okay. Plenty of treasure to be found. There's a hidden room here, which is accessible from this side. Obviously, some more treasure to be found. Okay. Okay. And then there's a hidden area here, which can only be accessed from there. More treasure. And then yet another of these rooms here. Okay. And then there's a single square over there that we haven't been able to find the entrance for yet. But it might be from here. It's not. I'm tempted to I'm tempted to use the teleport spell here. I just move 1 square. Now we're inside this little square here. And this is just one of these where there are random items on the doll here on the floor. Rope and hooks. And appear to be no consequences for taking any of this stuff. But the only way out was there. That's fine. Going to go into this particular square, see what's in here. This is treasure, okay. And I'm also going to go into the square on the other side here. We have to go back out and in here, fight the guards. One more time. And simply teleport into this square here and see what's in here. I accidentally typed in 0 instead of 1. It's just another room with treasure. Okay, we're out again. Didn't actually mean to do that, but let's finish this fight anyway. Carefully. See. These are potentially difficult battles. It's always a distinct possibility that we will lose a battle like this, so I'm going to be very careful here. And continue to heal the members of the party. Let's see, we survived. Now there's the only thing that remains is on the other side there, and there's a door that we haven't gone through, labeled the Grand Hall. And we will now go through. There's more stuff on the floor here. We are not really interested in the clutter of different items here. All sorts of stuff all over this castle. We're more looking for messages scribbled on the walls or hints. Seems that every square here is littered with items. And we haven't even gone full circle around the room yet. Okay. Down there near the bottom, there's another secret room which we haven't figured out how to access yet. So we would simply use the teleport spell to get in there. And we are now inside this room here. There is a door there, so it's probably as simple as that. There's a door on the other side that we didn't see. It's just a bunch of items sitting on the floor. So much for that. Which leaves this door here. Another unlabeled door. Some more stuff sprawled on the floor. Far fewer hostilities on this side of the castle. Very little going on in terms of encounters here. But a door here. Some more items. So that leaves the room on the other side there, which is not accessible from here. We need to go back here. Go out this way and back into this entrance hall. The joke of the day: why didn't the skeleton cross the road? He didn't have the guts. He didn't have any more orc jokes, so we got a skeleton joke instead. Now let's see. Here are the stairs to the dungeon at X11 Y9. This is probably the task for next stream, to try our hand at the dungeon in this castle. This room is labeled the green room. The Bishop of Green Battle is freed from imprisonment by your green key, which gives us plus 3,000 experience. He grants all green Triple Crown winners 10,000 experience. And we now gained 10,000 experience because we won at least 3 green battles, and we won at least 3 of these green, yellow, and green and yellow battles. We, however, have not won. Well, perhaps not. I wonder if the Triple Crown means that we need to take a green ticket to the arenas in every of the locations to gain these extra 10,000 experience points. It's somewhat likely. We could do that before. We can easily do that before leaving the stream for the night. All I need to do is go back to town. I need to sell some of this stuff here, so we aren't overburdened with endless amounts of junk. Trade this. I'm going to take a look at this blowpipe here. There's a blowpipe +4, which is potentially useful. I'm going to sell some of this stuff, though. We don't need another M27 Raygun. We already have one. ever. I am interested in these 2 items, seeing whether we can actually use them. The paladin is using a blowpipe, and perhaps he can use this one. Yes, he can. So that's potentially good. Yeah, I think we actually forgot to equip the robber with his bow again. And the last remaining thing I was going to check was whether we could use this blowpipe with the sorcerer. We can sell this now, we already have this spell. Going to attempt to equip this, and I was able to do that, so we can trade this blowpipe +2 and sell it. Let's see. We want to sell the blowpipe and the dog whistle, and then there's the pike. Let's see. See, potentially only useful for the archer, which already has the flaming sword. We will simply sell it, and we're done here. Except I was going to buy 3 of the green tickets. 1, 2, 3, and I'm also going to go here and purchase the green key again, and then I'm going to save the game, and I'm going to go to the arena in Middlegate and fight one of the battles, and a very easy one, and then we're going to go to the portal, and we are going to visit Zanzibar, the second town, and we're going to go visit the monster bowl, which is in the center of town, and complete a green battle here. I'm fairly certain this is what I mean by a triple crown. But you need to win one of these battles in all 3 of the arenas. Now we need to go all the way to Atlantium, which is the 5th town, and win the green battle there. And once we've completed that, then we will have become Triple Crown winners for the green bishop. Now we're at Atlantium. There's the Colosseum, the green Colosseum, and this is the only squares we had mapped here. So these are green monsters that we're fighting right now. So we need to do this for I assume the all 4 of the different battles. That is the green, yellow, red, and black battle. So we probably become Triple Crown winners at this point, And we can return to Middle Gate, and what I'm going to attempt to do now is go to the castle again, and try to rescue the bishop again and see if we get these 10,000 experience points. We're putting in a lot of effort for these 10,000 experience points, but potentially worth it in the end. Another of these fights. Okay. And now we make ourselves to the green key again. The joke of the day, an orc party game, pin the horns on the dragon. A very dangerous game to play. Yes. We gained 3,000 for the freeing from the imprisonment, and an additional 10,000 for the triple crown. So we will go back to town and see what the status it is with the leveling up. I think we're still ways away with the rest of the crew. We still need 62,000 to 67,000, but we're only 60,000 off. We were almost 200,000 off when we started, so we gained some 140,000 experience points during this run. So I will sign into the inn, and we will give some thought as to a potential raid here. Thanks for joining me for tonight's stream. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully you'll be able to join me again when we continue this quest. Depending on how things go, that might be tomorrow. But I think we will raid Tontagosa. He's playing an RPG, on a console RPG, which I was looking at him earlier, which seemed like a lot of fun. I don't know how much he has left, but he's a very calm and mellow guy, and he's easy to listen to, so I will leave you in his capable hands. But for now, thanks again for joining, and have a nice night, everyone.